Oh, brother, we're back.
Again.
Again. My very last time we had a beautiful chat and it was next level. It was amazing to bring those stories, those experiences out of you, and feel very grateful to have you now in this space, bro. Part of this kaupapa, bridge the gap underneath the umbrella of planting seeds. And this kaupapa is all around like bridging the gap for those who have aspirations of business, those who have aspirations or this burning ambition to create something. And I look at you and look at the things that you do, your CV, bro, your resume. There's all of these different accolades, and the way you hold yourself through that is just what I feel many people such as myself is just in awe of the things that you do, bro. So let's talk about that creativity. Let's talk about these things that you do, the different hats that you wear. And I know one of the things that you really love, bro, is responsibility. So let's go there, bro. What is it about responsibility that excites you?
Yeah, bro. I do love responsibility, bro. I guess when it's all said and done, bro, and I'm not here on this earth anymore, I want everything to land on my shoulders. However it turned out. Did I make a dent in the world? Did I leave the world better than when I found it? Did I leave something to my daughter? Is she proud of dad? And the only person who can really control that and make sure that those things happen are me, bro. And that's what gets me out of bed every day, yeah. I think responsibility, maybe for some people might be scary, but for me, I love it. I want everything to be my fault. Or I don't know if fault's the word, but you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
On me.
Whether it's good or bad, you sort of, you embrace it all. And I think about my relationship with responsibility is when I knew that, Te Araho, the online course that I've been navigating through, when I committed to that full time, it was the responsibility that actually instilled more fear in me. I was like, man, there's more responsibility for more people. Do I have it in me? Do I have the capacity to hold space for the people that will come into it? And that's what crippled me for some time. So can you understand that from that perspective as well, bro?
Yeah, I 100% can, bro. Because I've had those feelings before. It wasn't like I was always responsible or like always wanted to be responsible. I think fatherhood really kicked that in for me, the responsibility thing. And now my relationship with responsibility is just really healthy, bro. Yeah, I see it, like I said, it's kind of like the only thing that's within my circle of control. And that's why I love it, yeah.
Wow. And I know part of your story, bro, through your journey of your upbringing and some of the circumstances that unfolded has sort of been a natural progression for you to be that way inclined, bro. So what were some of those experiences growing up?
Yeah, probably the main or a huge theme for my childhood, bro, was my mother having bipolar and schizophrenia and being in hospital for a large part of my life. So myself and my sister, in a way, raised our two little brothers while our dad was working, and I guess responsibility was kind of forced upon us, and it kind of just stuck since then, yeah. So we were kids playing adults at a very young age, yeah.
Wow. And that's not something that you can teach anyone, but it's also like you're just thrown in that deep end almost.
Yeah.
And then has that been something that has just been, I guess, playing out in different things that you've been doing?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it has. And I guess when you're trying to tread water from a young age, you just get really good at treading water, bro.
Got to drown a few times,
That's
bro,
right,
in those
cuz.
big oceans. They need to like find your way back to the surface.
That's it, bro. And I think that's why the deep end doesn't scare me, really. Just used to being out there, bro, yeah.
Bro, and like, so we look at, the things that you do, and obviously, you're a part of one of the most renowned bands here in Aotearoa, Sons of Zion, and I know a large part of the things that we do when we start off is because we're passionate about it, and then we start to sort of see, oh, actually, there's a different way to navigate this because this is an industry.
Yeah.
And so what was that like for you guys as a band, bro, and for you?
Yeah, as a band, when we started, bro, it was definitely about the music. It was just a group of friends, brothers, traveling the world and playing music. But yeah, like you said, bro, we quickly realized that, hey, this is actually a business. This is actually something that we need to start taking seriously and figure out how it's going to be something that has longevity, that has legs beyond when the band wraps up. And so we've done things like set up trusts for, our children and stuff like that, bro, to make sure that it lasts, and it is run like a business. and even moving to like a more structured way of paying ourselves, and not just go make a bunch of money, then split it, and then go buy stupid things, like. And that came down to seeking professional help, bro, and going and see a good accountant and a financial advisor, and getting that structure in place. Yeah,
Because it almost seems as though, when you're just doing it for the passion, and then you're now in this big, huge world, and you've got this level of fame, people recognize you, this level of influence, and now on top of that, you've got this pool of money, and it just feels like, fuck, I can do and be whatever I want. Was that something that you guys experienced?
Yeah, it was, bro, and we were not fit to handle that kind of money. We hadn't seen money, on that scale before. So we just didn't know how to handle it, basically, bro. And by seeking professional advice and getting structure around it, that's probably the best thing that we could have done. Yeah, and we didn't. I guess for all of us in Sons of Zion, we didn't really have role models or whānau members who were doing well or had that kind of money. So yeah, just didn't have anyone to look up to, basically, bro.
Wow.
In that space, yeah.
And so do you feel our relationships to money is very key in whether it grows or if it doesn't?
Yeah, that's it, bro. And kind of trying to look at the long game. I'm very like long-winded now with a lot of things that I do. I'm not in a hurry. I'm more about how long can this thing last, and that's kind of the metric that I use for success. It's the length that it lasts, and I guess that's the thing with Eager Beaver. Like, I don't push on it too hard because I'm not worried about if it's going to last, because I know I'm going to be there for ages. So it's going to be all good, bro.
And it's probably a relationship as well that you have with work ethic. Like you said, that you and your sister took on the responsibility to look after the whānau, but your papa was out there just being a mahi dog. And so is that where you get your work ethic from as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely from my old man. He's a man of few words, but he's action man for sure, yeah. Action Jackson, definitely.
Hey, Action Jackson. And so you've got this natural tendency, bro, just to be like a go-getter, just enjoy the mahi when you're in it.
Yeah.
And speak to that kind of energy, because work ethic, bro, it's either you got to be very inspired by something, or you got to be compelled by not regressing. That brings this level of work ethic. And, I look at the things that you do, and there's so much that you do. So, like, where does that come from for you, bro? And do you acknowledge that that's part of your skill set?
Yeah, I guess it is part of my skill set, bro. I think because I'm not hung up really on the end, the thing that really excites me is taking something from my head, conceptualizing it, and then seeing it play out, just, be in the real life. That's where I get my kick. So kind of like the money and all that sort of stuff doesn't really matter to me so much. And I think the older I get, I'm getting a lot faster at validating an idea, so if I hear a business idea, or if I have a business idea, I can quickly kind of figure out whether I think it's valid and worth pursuing. Wow. And I only need like an inkling of a space, bro, and I'll go for it. I don't need the whole doorway. I just got to believe in it, bro. That's basically all I have to have for me to pursue something. Yeah.
And that's probably one of the most beautiful things to observe in our existence, bro, is having that idea in your mind. That's a thought that you are having this conversation with yourself. Your experiences is helping you have these kinds of ideas, and then there's a point where it triggers like a part in your heart or a part of your being that like awakens something in you. It's like belief, it's like confidence. It feels as though there's a mana associated to you bringing that into life, but only you can do it.
That's right.
But also with collaboration and other people and networking, all of that plays a part, but actually seeing it in your mind first, conceptualizing it, as you said.
Yeah.
But then the actual process of bringing it to life, wow.
That's it, bro. Yeah, and like if you can do that, getting it out of your head and into real world, for me, bro, that's like 90% of the job's done, Because from there, it's out of your control. You just watch it grow and you nurture it and you try and do those things. But I think the biggest hurdle for a lot of us, or for all of us, is just starting.
Wow. And what's that like as a musician, bro, and as a songwriter? You got the story in your mind, you're playing with these words, you put music to it, and, you've created something like beautiful, bro. Like, what's that like from a musician perspective?
Oh, bro, it's another layer, I guess, to that corridor, bro. So there's, you write the song, you put it out there to the world, and that's amazing. That's an amazing feeling in itself. And then you go and play these songs live, and for people to sing them back and watch the joy on their faces, enjoying your art, bro, is an even deeper level of that. So yeah, it's beautiful, bro.
Wow. 70,000 people, 50,000, however,
Yeah.
all around the world, like singing your song, bro.
Yeah.
That's something beautiful. And so when we transition from there, bro, we've got this beautiful production. Your sister and you have got these two different skill sets, but it merges together to create these beautiful projects that you guys are a part of. So was that a natural progression for you, or what made you to be a tutu behind cameras, bro, and have a knack for these kinds of things?
Yeah, I started just shooting music videos, bro, for sons and for friends. Like I've always had, I was, I guess, a bit of a hobbyist with cameras. I've always enjoyed doing that sort of stuff. And then my sister has worked in television for about 20 years, bro. She's a journalist by trade. And then we both moved home to Rotorua. So we were both up in Auckland, and then we moved back to Rotorua. And I guess we just found a gap for ourselves here. Initially, it was making content for tourism businesses, because there's a lot of tourism around Rotorua. And
That's right.
yeah, bro, just combined our powers, and now we're doing like bigger scale stuff and bigger contracts and stuff like that. But I think it was always going to be inevitable, because she brings structure to my chaos. You know, like I can have big ideas, but she'll structure it and figure out how it can actually be plausible and work. Yeah.
And what's it like being on that side of the mihi, bro? So people coming to you with ideas, and now you're helping them bring their ideas to life. So what's that been like for you?
Oh, it's awesome, bro. Like for me, I'm, how would I say this? I guess I'm naturally more lean towards a yes person. Like I don't try and pick things apart. Like I try and see why it will work more than why it won't work. And I think that's why people, I guess, enjoy sharing their ideas with me, because nothing's too crazy for me. I'm like, yeah, man, hard. Why not? You know, I try and see it for how it can be, not for why it can't be.
Well, and does that come down to like what you first said around the whole feeling of, you know, just living fully?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I just think we should just try everything, you know, give anything a go. You know,
and so
within reason, bro. Like not, you know, there's got to be a little bit of, I guess, risk analysis.
Yeah, and I think that's where we sort of like fail in terms of the risk analysis, because we put too much emphasis on the risk. We put too much emphasis on the doubt and the fear that we're having, rather than this beautiful like pond or this beautiful light that it would actually sort of like add value to our lives or make us a bit more joyful. So, you know, I know you've got like a great relationship with fear and you're separate from it. So did it take you a while to get to that point, bro?
Yeah, it did, bro. I probably have only had a really good relationship with fear and self-doubt and that kind of thing in the last 2 or 3 years. And, you know, you develop that relationship by having those things happen to you. So I've failed a bunch of stuff, bro. Like I've had a bunch of ventures that didn't work, had all sorts of hiccups and, you know, trials and tribulations in my personal life as well, and in fatherhood and all that kind of stuff. So you really get to know fear and self-doubt and failure when you fail heaps. You won't know it if you don't fail, and you won't fail unless you try. So it all kind of runs into each other, bro. It's like a domino effect. So you got to get out there and try stuff. You got to fall over. Yeah, you got to take a few kicks to the guts, bro. It's just...
It's part of it, It's inevitable. And it's crazy how we sort of have these similar stories or narratives around failure. Like we always hear, you know, failures are where our greatest lessons are. And it feels like it's a rinse and repeat kind of like sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a different kind of experience that we have with it. You know, like I could do this and I would fail at it, but you could do it and be successful at it. So it's our own experience that gives life to that sentence. Do you feel that it gets used a lot, bro?
Yeah, it does, bro. And the thing that I've realized is that it's never going to stop. You know, like we will keep failing, but we will also keep learning and keep growing. So the point for me is to never stop growing, bro?
That's right.
I want to grow to the end. Because where I leave is where Bubba, like Lila, she'll leap off.
Wow.
So I've got to leave as far up as I can. You know, I need to make that ceiling tall.
Bro, that reminds me of something. It's almost like we set that foundation for them to grow on. And sometimes it's what kind of foundation do we want to leave? Yeah. You know, what kind of foundation are we setting? Because sometimes people just have a foundation where they just want to provide for their whānau.
Yeah.
Other people have a foundation where they want to go to a next level and provide for their generations.
Yeah.
You know, so it's also around like what feels natural to you, or
100.
how well do you know yourself to know where you want to set that foundation? Because sometimes your foundation, bro, might be like higher than where mine is, but it doesn't make it different.
No.
You know, because we are at a space where we're navigating what feels authentic to us. So do you believe knowing yourself is vital for this journey, bro?
Bro, it's absolutely vital, bro. Like if I knew myself how I know myself 10 years ago, yeah, my ceiling could be, 10 times where it is now. But at the same time, bro, I very much believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm where I am now for a reason. I'm meant to be here. I wasn't supposed to know myself earlier than now.
Wow.
I'm where I'm supposed to be, bro.
I feel that too. Like we're meant to, and it takes like reflection, because we can't look too far into the future and we can't look too far into the past. But when we can be here in this moment and we can just observe how things have been, and looking for the synchronicities and looking for the flows and why things have ended up the way that they are, it gives us this level of peace and groundedness to be like, oh, I understand all of that now.
Yeah.
I think there's so much beauty and also a lot of encouragement within those kinds of internal realizations.
Yeah, 100%, bro. One thing too that I'm like super conscious of with Lila, because I'm such a driven person and I'm trying to go, to the absolute heights of my potential. I make the conscious decision to let her know, like, she doesn't have to do that. All I want her to do is be happy. And I always tell her, darling, as long as you do what you want and you're happy, dad's happy. So I don't want her to think, oh, my dad's this driven like bulldog and I need to be driven and I need to... Nah, it's not about that. I just want to get to those heights so that she has the opportunities, So if she says, Daddy, I want to try this, then the resources there to do it, I can support her in anything she wants to do.
Wow.
But, bro, I don't care if she wants to be a street sweeper. Just do it well, babe. All good,
Wow. And that's a beautiful thing that gives you, I guess, the sense of drive, because you already had it, but it feels as though since your daughter came around, it's just like gone to like whole new depths. And bro, talk to me about, the importance of a why. Why do you do the things that you do?
Yeah, I think when it comes to business, bro, that's probably the number one thing. Like, what's driving it? Because whatever's driving your business is, I guess, going to ensure that it's sustainable and it's going to stick around. Because if you've got a really strong why, bro, you'll do 10 years straight, eyeballs hanging, 80-hour weeks don't matter if the why is strong enough. But if the why is not strong enough, I guess you could find yourself in hot water when times get tough, because in business it is going to get tough, bro?
Yeah, talk about that, bro, because, there's this narrative, or there's this way of thinking about business where it feels as though if you don't have the Lambo, if you don't have the car, if you don't have 6-7 figure business, then that's not what business is.
Yeah.
But it's super hard, bro. And the reason why I think it's hard, it's because you got to overcome yourself so much throughout the journey. I feel that's the hardest part, because things never go your way all the time.
Nah, that's right, bro. They don't. And I think my approach to business is a little bit different, bro. The money for me is kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, because I'm not stupid. Like, I know that we need it, and I know that's what business needs to be sustainable, but it's not the main thing. The main thing for me, bro, is just making sure that I'm being my authentic self, and I'm serving. So that's how I approach business, bro. I serve the business. I serve CO2 Media. Like when we're doing shoots or whatever, I serve the people who are working for us. I serve the kaupapa, and then the money looks after itself, bro. Yeah.
Wow.
And because I'm not hung up on like things and toys and cars and all that sort of stuff, like I could
It
get that
seems
stuff.
as-
I just don't care, bro.
But it also seems that you're a fella who, like if it improves the quality of your life, like you'll spend money on camera work, or
Yeah.
if it gives you the experience, that's how you sort of I guess use and spend.
100%,
right?
bro. Yeah, for sure.
It's not really for the flashy stuff,
Bro, to be honest with you, bro, like excuse the language, but I couldn't give two shits about even acknowledgement, bro. Like I already acknowledged to myself who I am. Like I don't need anyone to tell me.
Wow.
So I don't need to be on a billboard or you're the man, or I don't care about any of that, bro.
And do you reckon your experience of having all of that has contributed to that way of living now, bro? You know, like getting
Yeah.
all of that, you know, all of that praise and love from like thousands and thousands of people. Has that sort of made you feel like, oh, it's actually not about that now?
Yeah, I think what it is, bro, is when things are great, bro, you get hit. There's all this noise, and praise and gassing up and all that. But then when things are bad, bro, like when a few years ago things went sort of south in my life, and only my close circle kind of stayed with me, and all of those people that were making noise in the good times, they're actually not there, bro.
Wow.
And it was that kind of realization, you know. So you can't play into the praise too much or the failures too much, you know. When times are good, yep, acknowledge them, enjoy it, but don't gas yourself up so far, you know what I mean? And I think Gary Vee always talks about this, bro. He says you got to get quiet.
Ooh.
You got to get quiet with yourself, and the good and the bad. So you can't play too much into the compliments either.
I like that because I think about it in like a personal growth development kind of space. When things are good, I feel good, but when things are bad, I still feel good.
Yeah.
Like I understand where I'm at within these two different spaces, you know, because I can't not be in bad spaces, you know, all the time kind of thing, and I can't be in good spaces all the time. But it's just understanding, like, if I can feel good and feel anchored and feel sweet within these two spaces, then, you know, things are going to be all good. And it's great that you have that kind of relationship to it in business. And, you know, coming back to, you know, service, bro, I know that's a big part of you, because when you serve, you're for something. You're either for your people, you're for the vision, and it takes you away from being at the forefront.
That's right, bro. Yeah. It's about leading from the back, bro. You know, it's about looking, and it's the same thing with Sons of Zion, bro. Like, I'm at the front because I'm the lead singer, but at the same time, like, I'm always looking around the stage and making sure that, you know, I'm guiding us well, bro. And we're serving that crowd of people.
Right.
You know? And it's a big responsibility, bro.
I could imagine so, bro. And because, you know, you've carried that same energy into the Beaver, into this NFT space. And, bro, I've come off the back of, you know, some very, like, challenging things within this blockchain NFT space. And it seems as though there's been, like, something beautiful happening in the Beaver NFT crypto space. So talk a little bit about that, brother.
Yeah, I think it's just that same DNA, bro, probably flowing through everything I do. You know, I try and, well, I don't even try, bro. I am consistent. I just am who I am, bro, with whatever I put my hand to. So, again, I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm not like putting myself up here and, hey, I'm the man, I started this, or you know, for me, it's about serving the community, building a great community, and ensuring that it has longevity. And at the same time, bro, like I couldn't for sure know where it's going to go, because the crypto space is volatile, bro. But what I do know is that I'll put my best foot forward. I'll be transparent, and my values, my business values, and my personal values will always shine through in those projects.
Has that been received well from the community, bro? Do you feel the way that it's been progressing since the start of the year, do you feel it's going in that kind of direction where you feel you're showing up? Do you feel the community is receiving that well?
Yeah, I do, bro. And I guess I know that to be so, because we had our launch party last week, and, you know, I finally got to meet some of these people face to face, and they love being a part of the community. They love what we're doing. They love that it's community first, the transparency, the fact that we're, you know, like in phase 4 of our roadmap, and we're actually delivering on the things that we said we're going to do. So, yeah, that was a beautiful reminder, and I guess confirmation of what we're doing is the right thing. Yeah.
Wow. And so there's you, bro, and you're a key component to a lot of these things, but how important is having good support and the right team?
It's everything, bro. Yeah. You're only as good as your team, and I think one thing that I've come to realize, bro, is that I'm actually better when I work with someone who's better at something than I am, right? Mm-hmm. So, for instance, I'm not good with words or like writing stuff out. So I could try and do it myself to try and save a bit of money, but it's probably better just to employ someone who's a writer, who will smash it, and in the long term, the effects of making that decision are going to be better.
Wow.
But I guess that takes a little bit of accepting that you lose a bit of control, bro. The more you grow out your team, then you have to part with a bit of control. But long term, it's going to be better for the machine, yeah.
I love those two things that you've said, bro. You've spoken about like that long-term approach to things that you're creating, right? It's that marathon rather than the sprint. But then it's also that letting go, because part of responsibility is we think it to be, we got to take on everything.
Yeah.
But a part of responsibility is like, what are you responsible for? Is it the growth of the business? Is it the growth of the things that you're doing? And so part of that is the letting go, because sometimes we could get tied up in ourselves thinking we need to control all the parts.
Yeah, that's right. And then it comes back to like, am I truly serving this machine? Like I know that I'm not actually the best at this job. I'm just trying to do it because it's cheaper, or I can just stay up later and do it myself.
Right.
Because I don't want to pay this person $2,000 to write this thing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's actually a detrimental decision. That's short-term thinking, to think, I'll save $2,000, rather than just getting it done properly. And then the long-term effects of it being done professionally and done well is way better.
Wow. And so what are some of the challenges that you've faced in either the band, CO2? Like, you've got a few hats running, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do it all?
I don't know, bro. That's the honest truth. I don't know, bro. I just love it. I don't know how. Yeah.
So when you love it, like, you're really putting that statement to, I guess, to experiences, that when you love what you do, it's not work.
Bro, it's not work. It's not work. For CO2, definitely my sister is huge. Like, I can probably have my foot off the pedal a little bit because she is me. We're exactly the same, bro, in terms of work ethic. So with CO2, I guess I don't have to worry as much. But yeah, I couldn't tell you, bro. I don't know how I wear all these hats.
Because it feels as though, people struggle to do one thing, but then you've got the capacity to do other things, and they all doing really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that whole mindset around, man, if you got something, just do one thing and do it well. But it feels as though you've built the muscle and the capacity to get things going, and then you're freed up space. I want to explore this, and then you get that going, and then, you free up space. So does that come back to, again, the team, bro, the support and the self-awareness of yourself? Yeah,
it does, bro. And perhaps that is my purpose, bro, to start things, drive things, and be a visionary. Maybe that's my role.
Wow.
Because I'll always, like I say, bro, I'm bullish. Like, I'll go for it. And that might be my purpose, to start things and get things going for people. I don't know. I haven't thought about it too deeply, actually.
What do you think your greatest achievement is, bro?
My daughter. Yeah, hands down.
Wow.
Yeah.
And outside of that?
Outside of that, it's hard to say, bro. Yeah. I'll get back to you in 20 years, bro.
Because it feels though sometimes, when you're just such a mahi dog, and people who have the tendency to want to create or want to grow themselves, it becomes like a destination mindset, right? Where you think about getting to a certain point in your life, and then you get there, but you can't really smell the roses because you're already thinking about something else.
Yeah, I have that, actually.
And so do you feel that that's part of you, bro?
Yeah, it is, bro. Yeah. Or if I stop to smell the roses for like a minute, max, I don't stay there too long.
So it really just comes down to, again, you just enjoy what you do, that every moment is good.
Bro, I just love it's almost like the challenge of, do we reckon we can do this? Like, that's the thing that I'm like, yeah, I reckon, and then try.
Wow.
It's more that. Yeah, it's not the destination so much. Yeah, and I guess that's why I got ants in my pants. Yeah, like I can't sit still.
And do you think, bro, the younger version of yourself, bro, the Riapo, just running around here in Rotorua, and I'm sure you see yourself and many of these other young kids, bro. Like, what do you reckon that young version of yourself would say to you?
You've done mean, bro. Like, because I know where I was and I know the cards I had, I think he'd be happy.
Do you think that becomes our strength, bro? When we look at our stories and, you think about these cards and you're like trying to go for a royal flush, but you just got like a, you just
a 2,
don't have,
a 3, a 4.
But we look at that and we're like, man, is this our life? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a crossroads, bro. I really hope that anyone who's listening to this, when they get to that crossroads, uses those cards for fuel, because it can go the other way. But there's no judgment there too, you know, like, man, it's hard. It's a hard crossroads, you know, like to be like what you said, bro, like have these terrible cards dealt to you, and like what do you want to do with that? But I guess my encouragement is that I know that if you go this way, the right way, you know, pursue kindness, empathy, it works out.
Wow. And maybe those are our cards that we are getting dealt. Maybe those are the things that we're seeing it for what they are at face value.
Yeah.
But if we sort of like look at it deeper, maybe it is nurturing those inequalities, as you said, like the empathy, the kindness, and maybe that's what our cards are revealing, but what we're seeing isn't that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just great to hear, bro, and also observe throughout the time that we've known each other that those qualities are just so true to you. You don't have to try to put that on, you know, and it's just great to know that your story is a great replication of who you are today. And do you feel you're proud of yourself, bro?
I am proud of myself, bro. Yeah, I wasn't for ages. Yeah. Just made too many, I don't want to say too many mistakes, but just made some big mistakes, bro, you know, hurt some people that I loved and I still love now, you know, whānau members, people that were close to me. So I couldn't look in the mirror and be proud of myself, but I am now. And it's because I know I've done the work, you know. I know I've really tried hard to improve myself, improve how I treat people, improve how I treat myself, bro, you know. Loving myself. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, brother. And some final words for our whānau who are listening, bro, something on your heart, something that you feel you could share either to your younger self or someone who needs to hear something at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it would just be off the back of what we talked about with the cards, bro. Like, it's not about how you start. It's absolutely not about how you start, and it's not about anyone else's race. It's your race. And it's only your race, and you're the only one on the track, and you're the only one running it. And how it finishes is up to you. Whether you get over the line is up to you. You know, it's up to you.
Wow. Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for your time, for your story. And yeah, bro, I'm proud of you too, brother, for all the things that you're doing, the quality and the level of the standards that you set for yourself and for the things that you do, the things that you touch. It seems as though it's a replication of the things that you see as well. So, mihi ana kia koe. Thank you for this chat, brother, and love you heaps, my bro.
Love you too, my brother.
Yeah, we on.